They say money can't buy taste, but apparently it can buy fragrance. So I hunted down what the world's richest people actually smell like, from tech moguls to fashion tycoons, and put their signature scents to the test. So let's see if any of these fragrances actually make me feel like a billionaire. Starting with the person that topped the Forbes World Billionaire list, Elon Musk. I mean, look, the world's richest person actually smells like a novelty. This is burnt hair, and it smells exactly how it sounds. Let me tell you, this is terrible. I mean, honestly, burnt hair is terrible, but if I had to describe it, it would be this incredibly smoky fragrance that almost smells a bit charred, and I feel like it aims to be unconventional, but it lands somewhere between like a bonfire and a cigarette butt. I don't know who would wear this fragrance, but if someone did, you have to have this certain level of confidence. And I don't necessarily have it. Or just maybe you need a giant pile of money, and I ain't got that either. Look, burnt hair is a statement maker, and it may not be the best statement, but I'll let you decide. Moving on, we got Oprah. I don't know. You get a fragrance, you get a fragrance, you get a fragrance. The bees are coming! Now look, when we saw Oprah in the color purple, no one knew her pockets would be as chubby as they are today. In these days, when you picture a billionaire media mogul like Oprah, you expect gold bottles and heavy florals. But nope, instead, she decides to go with Jo Malone. And if you know anything about Jo Malone fragrances, they tend to be serene, stunningly simple, and super elegant. Now, Oprah included Jo Malone on multiple segments of her show, and they've also been featured in her magazine and on her website as part of her Oprah's favorites or must-have list. And specifically, today we're talking about wood sage and sea salt. This is a clean, mineralic sea salt fragrance mixed with sage and driftwood. Now what I really like about this fragrance is that it's not loud. It comes off as calm and meditative. It smells like the kind of person that is completely at peace with who they are and don't need to prove anything to anyone. Yup. Now, of course, I'm talking about Rihanna, and she has her own fragrance line, and this is a part of the reason that she's a billionaire. Small part, but a part of it nonetheless. Now, aside from her own fragrances, Rihanna has been known to fancy Kilian fragrances, and really, I can't blame her for it. Now, although I have quite a few Kilian fragrances, I don't happen to have the one we're talking about, so I'll place it on the screen. We're talking about Kilian's Love Don't Be Shy, as this one has been known to be one of her favorites. Now, when I think about this fragrance in particular, although I don't have it, here's what I recall. It comes off as this sweet, almost edible gourmand fragrance, but it opens with this stunning orange blossom. But really, the real star of that fragrance happens to be the marshmallow and vanilla and dry down. It's an addictive, hyper feminine fragrance, hence why I don't have it. And again, it's an unapologetic gourmand fragrance that comes off as expensive and a little bit fluffy. Now, it's said that Riri wears that fragrance because it comes off as confidence and sex appeal. From the outside looking in, that's exactly what she's selling. It's a scent that gets noticed, pulls compliments, and happens to be luxurious enough to fit into a Fenty board meeting. This next fragrance, I'm gonna do a little cross up with. Boom! From Michael Jordan, we got Michael Jordan. Now, you would think that the GOAT would have these crazy niche fragrances, and it's said that he does, and we'll get to that in just a bit, but he also has his own signature line to really prove that people want to be like Mike. And really, when you think about this signature fragrance, it's kind of smooth and classic, like you would imagine an old school scent to be. Not bad. It's a throwback woody aromatic fragrance that was released in the late 90s. I want to say 1996 or 1997. And really what they did here, they combined clean sage, some earthy nutmeg, and the right touch of this sweet musk. Now, as you might expect, it's fresh, it's sporty, it comes off extremely wearable, but it's just not a part of anyone's best fragrances to wear list. Now, that said, when this fragrance originally released, it was a bestseller. So, was it MJ's star power, or was it really that good? Now, when it comes to niche fragrances, it's said that MJ liked to fancy Creed's Millesime Imperial. At any rate, both of these fragrances smell classic and like they should be worn by someone chasing success. They both seem to work with a fresh polo, slacks, and some golf shoes. And these days, I'm sure MJ's playing a lot of golf. Next up, we got a master of the green with Tiger Woods. Now, his fragrance of choice happens to be a bit interesting given some of his previous run-ins with the law. But before I tell you what it is, listen to what she has to say about it.
I've said this so many times. He smells so good.
Now, his fragrance of choice also comes from Killian and happens to be Killian Vodka on the Rocks. I gotta spray a bunch of this to get that burnt hair smell out of the room. This is good. Look, Vodka on the Rocks comes off as this frosted, almost icy fragrance that smells a bit cold and a little bit clean. It has this sharp mix of cardamom and coriander and a ton of aldehydes that give it this mineralic effect that collectively smells like this perfectly chilled glass of vodka. Now, personally, I find that this fragrance comes off as sophisticated. It's a bit complex and it shows you the range of what they have in fragrances and plays perfectly into its name. To me, this one is an incredibly unique fragrance that's perfect for the guy out there who has managed to keep his nerves. Now, when I think about our next billionaire and the fragrances that he wears, this is probably the most concrete proof we've got. Now, I just happened to be watching some boxing footage and stumbled across a Floyd Mayweather house tour, so I fast forwarded to the bathroom because I figured that's where the fragrances would be. And of course, I was right. If you're watching this, don't keep your fragrances in the bathroom. Now, although some people may look at Floyd and say he's new money, he certainly acts like it, I would say that when we look at his fragrance selection, some of them happen to be old money. Now, there were a ton of fragrances that I could pick out here, from niche to designer to even clones. But some of the ones that I like happen to be Creed's Green Irish Tweed. Now, I am a huge fan of this fragrance, and we're talking about something that smells earthy and green and like a man. Green Irish Tweed is one of those scents. I mean, you could think about it as Irish Springs or like a fresh cut lawn within an expensive neighborhood. With this one, you get some lemon verbena and violet leaf in the top. Oh my goodness. And it just settles down into this sandalwood base. It's the definition of clean and expensive. But another fragrance that I happened to see here was Bond No. 9's New York Oud. Now, this is a fragrance that is totally different than Green Irish Tweed. Let's say that this one's for the daytime and this one's for the night. Now, no matter if he's riding in a Ferrari or a Bugatti, both of these fragrances would do just fine. New York Oud is strong, and this is the fragrance that just screams, I need attention. But it also screams, I own a private jet and the landing strip. Look, if we're talking billionaire vibe, both of these fragrances smell like money. But he also had roaches, man, and that one, not so much. Now, what I will say about this is that Bond No. 9 has a fragrance like this called New Harlem that has a similar smell, but I don't like it at all. But as you can see, there's a wide range of fragrances within this lineup. Also, from Lamani, he happened to have AB Millionaire, which is a clone of Raban's 1 Million. Comment down below and let me know how many of those fragrances you recognize. Moving on, we got a celebrity who is said to be an undercover billionaire that he doesn't want anyone to know, and I can kind of see it. That person just happens to be Drake. And the fragrance that we're talking about today is not Summer Mink, which is his own fragrance. This one happens to be wrapped in the famous lines of Tom Ford Tuscan leather smelling like a brick, which happens to be the only reason why I got this scent. Listen, Tom Ford Tuscan leather, an amazing fragrance, and my wife picked this one up for me based on that song. We would listen to it over and over again, so she gave it to me as a gift. Now, this fragrance is far darker than Summer Mink. It's smoky and it's far more intense. It's a leather fragrance that almost smells like the inside of a luxury car that's fresh off of the showroom floor. It's raw, it's smoky, it's rich, and it also features this sharp but bright raspberry note. And personally, I believe that that's what makes this fragrance so addictive. Now, this scent is not for those out there who are shy, because you walk into a room wearing this one and you can certainly command attention. Now, this isn't the only fragrance that Drake has been associated with. Notably, he also has a tattoo of Drakkar Noir, he has a body oil called Carby Musk, and he's been known to wear some Brioni from time to time. Each of these fragrances are bold in their own way, and they're known to set the tone. own. So if you're looking for a fragrance that's bold and braggadocious, these happen to be it. Moving on, we got a music and fashion mogul who's turned billionaire, lost his billionaire status, became billionaire again, and subsequently lost it again. But he's so polarizing, he had to be on this list. Yes, of course, Mr. West is in the building. And the fragrance that we're talking about for him happens to be from Byredo, and this one is Gypsy Water. Now, when I think about this fragrance and his personality, they are nothing alike. Or are they? You see, Gypsy Water is minimalistic, chic, and obviously niche. It's a beautiful blend of these juniper berries, some fresh lemon, and it's grounded with this creamy vanilla and sandalwood. There's also something about it that smells like some clean water, and it wears very light, like this high-end skin scent. Now, it's not as loud as Kanye, and that may be one of the things he likes about it. But when we think about his fashion, this is where it makes a little bit more sense. It's for the person that understands quality, and this fragrance just screams that through and through. Now, before we go off of Kanye, I have to talk about another one, which is Whatever It Takes. And this fragrance I actually picked up at Marshall's years ago. Now, this fragrance was actually created by a company called Apple Beauty Inc., not to be confused with the Apple cell phones. Now, Kanye didn't actually make the fragrance, but what he did do was donate his artwork to the fragrance. And for me, I believe if he donated his artwork, he had to believe in it. Now, what he probably did not know is that this fragrance was going to have a bug floating around in it. And I keep it, ew, it's terrible. There's a big bug just floating around in this fragrance. And if Kanye had to know, he wouldn't have let it go out, I don't think. But it's his name's associated with it, so there you have it. And speaking of names associated with Kanye West, we gotta talk about Kim Kardashian West. Now, she might have moved on to rappers and to ball players, but we know that Ray J hit it first. But all jokes aside, when it comes to marketing, branding, and getting your name out there, Kim knows exactly what to do. Now, this is Kim Kardashian West Crystal Gardenia Oud. If I remember correctly, when these fragrances released, there were 3 of them, and they all happened to have this crystal shape or whatever else shape you want to call it in terms of what their fragrances are. Since then, she's released a ton. Had like the heart-shaped one and the one shaped as a body and a bunch of other ones, but this is one of the ones that originally stood out to me. And let me tell you, when this one dropped, I really liked it. This is really an infusion of white florals and this bold oud. And what I really think is interesting here is that these fragrances tend to be a little bit more inspired by like Middle Eastern scents. But they're not barnyardy, these are a little bit more polished. Not saying that Middle Eastern fragrances are barnyardy, but some ouds can definitely be. This one's dark, it's sensual, and it has a bit of this unapologetic glamour to it. So if you want to know what Kim Kardashian likes before you send her a gift, obviously she likes something like this. Moving on, we got another billionaire, which happens to be Beyonce. And the fragrance that Beyonce has been most recently associated with also comes from Kilian, and this one is Kilian's Angel Share. Now, if you know anything about this bee, you know that I love it, and that bee clearly does, and my wife does too, so she's a bee, which means that's a triple bee. But anyway, this is a warm gourmand scent that's inspired by this French cognac. It smells like a rich, boozy apple pie. And personally, I find it a little bit intoxicating. That said, it also features oak wood, cinnamon, and this thick vanillic syrup. I don't know what else to say about this fragrance that I haven't said yet. It's definitely a showstopper. It's seductive, it's deep, it's warm, it's complex, but it wears as a fragrance that's just sensual, captivating, and crowd pleasing. Now really, although I wear this fragrance a ton, I could see someone like Beyonce wearing it, and this fragrance really just kind of molds to the person that's wearing it. So for her and in the situations, it would smell great, just as for me in my situations, it smells phenomenal. So to keep on theme with our word association, you know where we're going next? Exactly. Oh, Jay-Z. Now look, I know Jay-Z has Jay-Z Gold that has been discontinued, and I'm out of my bottle. With that one, just think warm, spicy, and aromatic. Some people say that Jay-Z Gold kind of reminds them of Eros, but it's not as strong, maybe a little more fruity, and doesn't project a ton. Now, as I mentioned, that fragrance has since been discontinued. When it was out and about, you could probably pick it up for 20 to 30 bucks, but these days, it's gonna run you a couple $100. $100. Now, we did talk about this fragrance earlier today, but this one is Creed's Millesime Imperial. Now, this fragrance is bright, it's citrus, it's salty, and it definitely just feels like a scent that is for the person that knows exactly what they want. It's incredibly clean, it's refreshing, and it also has a bit of a watermelon type of feel to it. You get a touch of musk here. This one is also white t-shirt approved, and although I have historically said that this one makes you feel like $1,000,000, apparently it makes you smell like $1 billion. This one is perfectly tailored for a white t-shirt and time on a tropical island without being too cliche. Honestly, Jay-Z's fragrance might have smelled closer to this if Sean John didn't already release Unforgivable. And speaking of Sean John, let's talk about the girl that he actually needed. The one that was from the block and you were confused by the rocks that she got. Of course, man, we talk about J-Lo. Now, J-Lo has been known to wear a ton of fragrances, but one that I love, and she happens to love too, is Creed's Silver Mountain Water. Silver Mountain Water is sharp, it's green, and it's fresh. It's invigorating, it's clean, and when you spray this one stands out, especially if you know what you're smelling for. Now, what also makes this one unique is that it comes off as metallic-y, so it's not just this average, boring citrus scent. It feels a little bit more inky and a bit more perfectly flawed. This happened to be one of my introductions into the world of niche fragrances, and it's a staple within my collection and will always be here with me. I need a new bottle. I've been saying that for years, and I've been slowing down on the amount of times I wear it, but I just might need to go out there and pick another one up. Moving on, it said that the king of pop went to the master of seduction for his signature scent. And of course, I'm talking about MJ and Tom Ford. But here's where it gets tricky. My original bottle of Black Orchid is gone, but I do have the Black Orchid Parfum. And this one's a little bit different, but the nuances of the fragrances are about the same. Black Orchid is dense, it's dark, and it has this velvety richness to it. You get this sweet black truffle with it, and you also get this deep, sensual patchouli. It's earthy, it's sweet, it's incredibly powerful, and this fragrance performs, it projects, and it just feels like something the king of pop would wear. I mean, really, this fragrance just screams iconic, and it also screams for attention. When it comes to designer fragrances, this one is creative, it's artistic, and it pushes the boundaries of what's acceptable within the designer fragrance world. Now, what I will say, if you can't afford Black Orchid, then Alexandria Fragrances has Unforgettable that is a one-to-one. And then there was one, and I'm talking Jimmy Fallon. And the fragrance that he is known to wear is John Bravado's The Original. Now, this is the king of low-key, accessible charm, and one of the fragrances that shows that you don't have to spend a lot to flaunt your wealth. This fragrance is vanilla, black leather. You have some sage, some Mediterranean herbs, and it also features some tree leaves. Overall, you get a fragrance that's smooth, woody, and surprisingly sweet. And that's likely on account of the date fruit. It's soft, it's comforting, and again, that leather is positioned in the base here. So if you're looking for a fragrance that's warm and approachable, and one that would steer you on a path to look and feel like a billionaire with that confidence, then John Bravado's Original is it. It's like a humble brag. It's, I got money just without the ego. Now, here's what I discovered. If you really want to smell like a billionaire, your choices are either Creed or Killian. And honestly, I'm not totally surprised. Now, if you think these fragrances are too rich for your blood, you might want to check out what some of your favorite celebrities are wearing. So click here, because I got them all.